Essentially, this was an ANC bailout budget. The minister could have done a lot of things that we've presented in our alternative budget, but of course did not, because there's no political will. What the minister's basically doing is he's taking 150 billion rand of the Reserve Bank's contingency reserve that we actually need as a contingency in case we need it for our economy, and he's throwing it into a massive big hole of debt, and that's not going to sort out the problem. What the minister should have done is focused on stimulating growth, and he hasn't done that. So what we're going to see is a reduction in growth, which means there's going to be less revenue and that we're going to have a widening deficit. So the small plaster that he's putting over this wound is not going to sort out the problem. What he did also was completely ignore vulnerable South Africans. He did absolutely nothing for South Africans battling the never-ending cost of living crisis. He did not do anything to increase the child grant, except by a very small amount. It's not sufficient. The DA proposed a much bigger increase because we need to make sure that our children get more nutrition. He could have cut the tax on fuel to make food less expensive. He could have expanded the zero VAT rated food basket, but he did nothing. So this was a budget that completely ignored vulnerable South Africans. What it was is basically an ANC election budget that looked at not cutting back the public sector wage bill because that is not politically possible. So they chose the ANC rather than the people of South Africa.